Hello everyone, my name is Earnhardt and I want to give my expectations for the World of Outlaw drivers in 2024 before the season starts in a few days. I've been recording my own stats for the past 3 seasons and I decided I wanted to do something a little different for this year. I've been a big fan of the World of Outlaw since I was young and I love nothing more than talking about them. With all that said, let's get started. Going into year 11 with Shark Racing, I think Logan Schuchart is poised to strike. He got off to a hot start after winning the Big Gator at Volusia last year and was well in the title hunt early in the season. However, a rough March, April, and May saw him out of the title race, and he quietly slipped back to 5th in points by season's end. I think after his big Eldora win, he can go into this year with more confidence than ever, especially with a new slate in front of him. I expect the $1 Million Man to be a threat for the title well into the summer months, so 10 wins and a top 3 points finish should be more than doable for him. People are saying David Gravel is next in line and giving him the points championship, and the season hasn't even started yet. However, I don't know if he can stay consistent enough to even do that. Despite having the most top 5s last year, his bad nights were truly terrible. 2 years in a row, DNFs have cost him championships. I remember a couple of nights over the past 2 years thinking, yep, that's his title hunt out the window, better luck next year, pal. Yet over the years, he has proven he can run well anywhere across the country. So 17 wins is the marker I'd like to see him hit this year, but anything less than a championship will be a failure for the Houston Speedway number 2. Brock Zierfoss has proven he can stay afloat with the World of Outlaws. He and his 3Z team have set a solid base over the past few seasons, and now it's time for both of them to take it to the next level. History has shown it takes a couple of years running full-time with the Outlaws before you really start finding any success, and I think Brock is on the right course. With 24 races in the Ohio-Pennsylvania region this season, I think Zierfoss will find himself in the mix a handful of times. I'd like to see him with a win, 10 top 5s, 30 top 10s, and a finish in the top 8 in points by the end of the year. Bill Rose is the ultimate underdog. He pours his heart and soul out every night. He doesn't just want to drive a sprint car, but he wishes to battle with the best drivers on the planet, night in and night out. I'm happy to know that this year's car will no longer be all white with the black 6, as Michael Waltrip's Brewing Company has come aboard as his main sponsor this season. I don't have a lot of expectations for Bill this year, but I'd like to see him keep his average feature finish in the low to mid-20s. For 2024, Jason Sides has picked up another young driver I've never heard of until this offseason. Landon Crawley joins the World of Outlaws quite green to driving 410s and at the very young age of 16, but this hasn't stopped him at all in his career as he started racing 305s when he was 12. From what I have read, he has a lot of talent, but I don't know how long it'll take for it to show. I'm not going to set the bar too high for Landon because I don't know what to expect from him, but I'd like to see him make at least 80% of the features by the end of this year. Though Donnie Schatz isn't as dominant as he once was, he is still a contender every night, especially when there's a crown jewel involved. As much as I rooted against him when I was young, I've grown a real respect for him. There were a couple of stretches last year where he strung together some wins and good finishes, and it would give me the creeping feeling of, uh-oh, Donnie's back. With his history, I'm not going to write Schatz out of the title hunt because I still think he has it in him. But this year, I'd like to see him with 7 wins and a top 5 finish in the points. After 9 wins in 2022, 2023 was riddled with inconsistencies for the NOS Energy Drink 17. Everyone knows Sheldon is oozing with talent behind the wheel, as he won from 16th at Skagit last year, but he bounced in and out of the top 10 all season long. I know his dad, Jack, was the wild child, known for his near-wrecking style of driving and all, but man, I wish Sheldon would just tune it down just a little bit when he's leading, battling for the win, or just running up front in general. Too often have I seen him swing for the fences with 20 to go, only to end up destroying his car. He needs to start managing races a little bit more, in my opinion. I'd like to see him bounce back this year with 7 wins, 30 top 5s, and if he can put it all together, I think he can be a top 5 guy by the end of the year. In my opinion, the most shocking and exciting addition to the roster this year is the North Pole Nightmare, which is probably the coolest name in all of dirt racing. After becoming the most dominant IRA driver in series history, Bill Balog started to broaden his horizons showing up to more and more Outlaw events as the years went on. The stars have aligned in 2024, and Bill has decided it's time to join the world of Outlaws. I'm not quite sure where to place him, as so many drivers have joined and left the tour this offseason. So I think he's a real wild card, and there's a handful of tracks I think he will excel at, and others I'm really just not quite sure how he'll fare. I'd like to see him in the hunt for the Rookie of the Year. With a win, 3 top 5s, and a top 8 in points by year's end, I think will be a great start for Bill Balog. Fresh off his Rookie of the Year win, Gio Scelzi is ready to hit his sophomore season full steam ahead. In his rookie campaign, it didn't take long for him to settle in before he attacked. Though he only had 1 win, he earned a top 10 in over half of the features last year, giving him an average feature finish of 9.9. I think Scelzi is a real dark horse for the title this year, and he will be in the mix every night. I almost favor him slightly more than Schuchart in that regard. So for the 2024 season, I'd like to see Gio with 5 wins, 25 top 5s, and a top 4 finish in the points. In 2023, Noah Gass made strides, but also faltered along the way. Going into this season, I think things will be in his favor, as a handful of drivers have gone to high limit. This will allow him to move up a few spots and boost his average feature finish of 18th up a few spots. One spot I think he really needs to get better at is at the start of the night in qualifying and heat race action. Noah was one of the most passed guys in heat races alone last year, and from there it would really put him and his team behind the rest of the night. So I think if he can get the early part of the night sorted, the 20G will be alright. I'm hoping to see Gass in the top 10 in points with 5 top 10s, an average feature finish of 15th or better, and 5 dash appearances this year. I know this one is a lot, but I really just want to see him perform well. Last year, Carson Macedo in the Jason Johnson Racing 41 had more raw speed than any other car in the series, with 16 quick times, 5 of them being in a row. Macedo isn't afraid to rattle someone's cage either, where other drivers can be. On top of his speed, Carson has the consistency to be a dangerous title contender and a long-term points leader. My big concern is the loss of his long-term car chief and tire specialist, and how it will affect the car's performance. With all that said, I think Carson can hit the 15 win marker this season, and just like gravel, anything less than the championship will be a disappointment. Buddy Kofoid is now on the big stage. The back-to-back USAC midget champ is now full-time with the World of Outlaws and the Roth 83 machine. With J-Mac running high limit this season, I think Kofoid is a great fit because to me, he and J-Mac are similar in their ability behind the wheel. He has a long career in front of him, but I expect him to win Rookie of the Year this year for sure, with a couple of wins and a top 7 finish in the points at the end of the season. And with that, those are my expectations for the World of Outlaw drivers in 2024. I'm hoping to make more recap-style videos like this along with my stat keeping this season, but I'm not quite sure how frequently I want to do it. Every week, month, or somewhere in between, again, I don't really know. What I do know is I like talking about sprint cars, and I plan on doing it more this season. I've been Earnhardt, and I'll see you in the next one.